Hello there, welcome to ITV News Meridian.
Tonight's headlines in the southeast. Dicing with death, the teenagers seen dancing on a live railway track in Sussex seconds before a train speeds past.
Stay off the tracks. We don't want to see that dangerous behaviour around the railway. We want to keep everybody safe.
Preparing for the Trump slump, the southeast businesses and jobs facing uncertainty as US tariffs rock the global economy.
Also this Monday evening, Brighton's fictional crime detective series Grace returns to our screens. We're in the city with one of the stars.
And full steam ahead at Bodiam Station on the Kent-Sussex border as it celebrates a big birthday and a bright future. Good evening. Shocking CCTV has been released showing a group of young people dancing on live railway tracks at a crossing in Sussex.
The footage captured in Ferring near Worthing is the latest incident where people play chicken seconds before a train goes past, some travelling up to 100 miles an hour.
Well, the number of near misses and the misuse of the crossing has prompted an urgent safety review, as Charlotte Wilkins reports.
A teenage boy pleads with his friends not to run across the tracks with the train approaching.
No, go!
Ignoring their friend, this group put their lives at risk by playing chicken. Narrowly missing a train travelling 70 miles an hour. Meanwhile, this dog walker changes his mind about crossing with a split second to spare. These near misses at Clappers Lane crossing at Ferring have been captured on CCTV. They've been shared by Network Rail to try and raise awareness of the dangers of taking risks on or near the railway line.
I'm a train driver, so for me, to have a near miss or people crossing in front of you is quite scary.
I've never been a fan of that crossing anyway. And I kind of felt that you're close enough to the barriers here anyway, which is controlled, so it is a much safer place to cross the line.
This crossing was used as a bit of a shortcut for people in Ferring to go to the local shops or the local holiday park, but it's now been closed due to people misusing the line. But I've been speaking to people living nearby and they say that despite the fence going up, young people in particular are still climbing over and messing around on the tracks.
We've currently installed a temporary closure of this crossing. The plan is to install warning lights to make it more visible to people using the crossing when it's safe to do so. But of course, there's a responsibility on everyone using crossings to make sure that they take responsibility for their safety, follow the signs, follow the instructions at place, and we will obviously take steps to make sure that all our crossings are safe.
This campaign comes nearly a week after the operator launched a hard-hitting, graphic safety video showing the life-changing impact of someone coming into contact with the electrified third rail. The most recent national figures reveal that 10 people died in a one-year period while trespassing on the tracks. 5 were struck by a train and 5 were killed by electrocution. Network Rail's important message is a simple one. Don't take a chance and stay off the tracks. Charlotte Wilkins, ITV News, Ferring.
A 105-year-old man has died after a car collided with his mobility scooter in Uckfield. The crash happened on Saturday close to the junction of Bell Farm Road and Brookside. The car driver, an 87-year-old woman from Ringmer, was not injured. Sussex police are appealing for witnesses and dashcam video.
2 men charged with attempted murder have appeared in court following a serious assault in Folkestone. Police officers were called to an address in Furs Lane on Friday morning, where a man in his 50s had serious injuries, one consistent with a stab wound. He was taken to hospital. Abdul Gunes, who's 73, and Nekdet Gunes, who's 45, are next due to appear at Maidstone Crown Court in May.
A project claiming to be the UK's largest installation of on-street electric vehicle chargers has been announced in Sussex. More than 6,000 curbside chargers will be fitted across Brighton and Hove. The City Council is one of the first local authorities to use the government's local electric vehicle infrastructure funding. The scheme supports local authorities in England to plan and deliver charging infrastructure for people without off-street parking.
Many businesses in the southeast are counting the cost as US trade tariffs start to bite. For some, the effects are immediate. Others are putting expansion and investment plans on hold, while the impact of the taxes are assessed.
Well, Donald Trump's blanket 25% tariff on imported cars and the 10% charge on nearly all other UK products is hitting many sectors. They include the Rolls Royce factory at Goodwood in Sussex, employing more than 2,000 people, and tech companies like Geku Automation in Medway, who exports production line robots to America. Well, Joe Caution has been talking to company bosses for us today. And Joe, what's the mood there?
Yes, thanks, Matt. This small factory in Strood has been creating custom robotic solutions for over 25 years, working with all sorts of different industries, from car manufacturing to whisky distilling. Now, this machine over here, for example, is a waste management system and can identify and separate different bits of recycling. And then if you come with me over here, this very clever robot can match and identify stacks of crates that are of a similar item by identifying different barcodes, in this case for a major high street UK retailer, so they can distribute stock all across the country. Now, this firm works with businesses mainly in the UK but across the world. They were hoping to expand some of their business in North America, but with the global supply chain getting a bit of a rewire, it seems not even robots are immune. This is a taste of what the future looks like. A robot making complex calculations at speed with immense precision thanks to clever programming. It's what allows this factory in Medway to thrive. But there's been a spanner in the works in the form of Donald Trump's trade tariffs, and calculating the exact costs on their business is tricky to compute.
There's a lot of what ifs. Firstly, how do we adapt to this? But secondly, is this a permanent change? At the moment, who knows? Probably have some competitors in places like Europe that, as far as we understand, have higher tariffs on those, so we effectively have an advantage over them because of that. And it's the secondary impacts that are harder to gauge at this point in time and could be much more significant. For every one car company, there's 50 companies supplying parts, and we supply to those companies, so that will be a huge knock-on for the whole of the UK.
One of Geku's customers was Rolls Royce Motor Cars, who make the luxury vehicles at their global headquarters in Sussex. Last year, North America was their biggest customer. The company, who are owned by BMW, say they want to see a transatlantic deal to generate growth. But speaking over the weekend, the man in charge of making that deal possible wasn't giving much away.
I don't want anything to go down, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something. And we have such a horrible, we have been treated so badly by other countries because we had stupid leadership that allowed this to happen.
Other than machinery and transport, the Scotch whisky industry could be severely impacted by Trump's tariffs too, worth nearly £1 billion to the UK and a growing market that Steve and the team found a robotic solution for. But they say future business may now be at risk.
We have one particular customer in Scotland, a whisky distiller. We have quoted a multi-million pound projects up there, and these projects are now under risk because of the uncertainty in America.
A potentially costly outlook then for a business that's all about solutions. They've been met with what could be quite an expensive problem.
And Joe, a response to this crisis from the Prime Minister today?
Yes, that's right, Matt. Sir Keir Starmer admitted these were challenging times in a new era of global instability. If you take a look at the markets, the FTSE 100, the UK stock market fell to its lowest for a year, but the impact is being felt across the Atlantic too. Take this company, for example. It's where politics and programming collide, if you like. They say the costs of exporting their robots will essentially just be passed on to their US customers, and they'll shift their focus somewhat to business elsewhere around the world. And that's what the Prime Minister wanted to achieve too, or wants to achieve rather, to find new opportunities for trade across the globe, and says our future is in our hands.
A moment for cool heads. Nobody wins from a trade war. You know that. But it's also a moment for urgency, because we've got to rise together as a nation to the great challenge of our age, and it is the great challenge, which is to renew Britain so that we're secure in this era of global instability.
Well, Sir Keir Starmer did say he continues to negotiate on a trade deal with President Trump, but he says he will be backing British businesses to the hilt, where we can rise together as a nation.
OK, Joe, thank you.
A clampdown on vehicle thieves has led to increased arrests across West Kent. Police say it's helped reduce the crime rate. They've released footage of a stolen car being pursued into Essex, where a suspect was arrested, and a motorbike was chased in Maidstone by police who were proactively patrolling a crime hotspot.
A couple from Kent have tied the knot at the QEQM hospital in Margate. Jim and Jenny Denton, who are both 74, got married in a ward where Jim is being cared for. He'd had surgery for pancreatic cancer, but ended up back in hospital after picking up an infection. After 16 years together, the Ramsgate couple said the timing was right.
The famous Arlington Bluebell Walk in Sussex is now open for its 52nd year. Open for the next 5 weeks near Polegate, it's welcoming a number of charities who will be raising money. Last year, more than £1 million was raised.
Now you're watching ITV News Meridian in the South East. Coming up, Andrew will be here with all the sport.
Yes, sunshine and blue skies, and dare I say, getting a bit warmer again too. I'll be back later with all the weather details.
More from us, of course, online. All the details you need are on the screen. The website, as ever, itv.com/Meridian. Our phone number, 0808 1010 095. And you can follow us right across social media.
Now, it's estimated that around 1 in 7 people are neurodivergent, with conditions such as autism and ADHD, and that can sometimes make it harder to find the right job.
But employers are being urged to consider recruiting more people with neurodivergence because they can offer a unique blend of skills that are ideal for certain roles. With more, here's Malcolm Shaw.
No. I mean, I was out on location doing the video thing.
At the headquarters of Careline Live, it's another busy morning. The company at Slinfold in Sussex supplies software to home care providers, and it makes a point of recruiting staff with neurodivergence, among them Marie Page, who's the marketing manager.
I've definitely got traits that one would describe as being neurodivergent. I'm not very good at sequencing, so for instance, I can't ever remember a string of numbers. So today I had to wait for someone to let me in through the door at the office because it's a 4-digit code that I had completely forgotten. I've been working here for 2 years. I don't come into the office that often, but I'd forgotten the code. So I'm not great at sequencing. And I'm also very aware of extra sounds and other sensory kind of impacts. So I'm not very good in a loud office, for instance.
Careline Live was started in 2018 and now serves 650 customers in 7 countries. It has more than 40 staff. The company's founder says employing neurodivergent people sometimes means adapting to their needs, but also playing to their strengths.
Their ability to sometimes hyper-focus is really useful in different situations, especially where your time precious and things like that. Sometimes logical thinking, because it's, sometimes different people think in a very binary way, that can also be really useful for us as well. So there's lots of different traits that come out in different people's roles where actually you can play to those strengths and harness them.
It's estimated that as many as 1 person in 7 has neurodivergence, conditions including autism, ADHD and dyslexia. Nancy Doyle from Plumpton Green is an expert in the field and created the community interest company Genius Within.
Neurodivergence is about divergence from an average. So most people would score around average for most cognitive abilities, whereas neurodivergent people tend to have what we call a spiky profile, which is that some of the things that you test them on are quite high and some of the things might be quite challenged, but there's this idea of big differences between the things that you are brilliant at and the things that you struggle with.
Back at Careline Live, Mike Perry briefs a colleague in the technical department. He was diagnosed with dyslexia while at college, but says working in IT suits him well.
You're always trying to find ways to work around your issues. You get quite good at problem solving on the fly. And you have different ways of looking at it. They're different problems, so it can bring a different perspective.
All bosses want to recruit the best staff, and neurodiverse employees can offer companies a unique set of skills. Malcolm Shaw, ITV News, Slinfold.
Last night, the detective drama Grace returned to our screens on ITV1 and ITVX. The series, set in Brighton, is based on the best-selling novels by Peter James. In fact, Queen Camilla has said Roy Grace is her favourite fictional detective of all time.
Well, fans won't be disappointed with the new feature-length episodes for Season 5. Natalie Ball has been speaking to Richie Campbell, who plays DI Glenn Branson.
You think it was murder?
It's the detective drama where Brighton has almost as big a role as the lead characters. And with a bomb threat, a missing teenager and personal heartbreak, Season 5 of Grace is sure to have viewers gripped from the start.
There's a bomb in the stadium. We need to find Roy.
What do you think makes Grace so successful? Because you're on Season 5 now.
I think, do you know what, it's an amalgamation of so many different things. The books are like bestsellers. The character himself is like a great character. It's like a great cop who wants to just do good. I think people are just invested as well. That's what John and I are really like excited about, that people care about the characters and like they want to see that journey. They want to see them go on that kind of journey and get the bad guys. You know, you can always root for them.
You sure you're going to be...
It's okay. I'm ready.
Well, in that case, I've got you a possible murder victim. Male, 30s, head trauma, found in a hotel room last night. No ID.
It's very thoughtful of you.
At the start of Season 5, there is heartbreak for Roy and Cleo.
We start off with the fact that they've lost their baby. And so for Roy, he just wants to get back into work and focus on that. And for Cleo, it's hard for her to let go. You know, it's a big thing. They were kind of a big step to move forward in their lives together. And so, yeah, it's a somber moment, but also it's that thing that, you know, you get to meet the people behind the police and behind the pathologist and all that kind of stuff.
How do you find filming in Brighton? Is it more difficult now that people recognise the cast and know the show so well?
Do you know, we started in lockdown, so it was bizarre because like everything was all locked off and people were kind of not really around. So over the years, we've seen it change, and it's got a lot harder because, yes, people know the show and people are aware of the camera crew and everything like that. But much as it is tricky sometimes doing scenes on the beach or, you know, in the lanes or anything like that, like everyone's so nice about it, which is it's a great feeling to know that you're part of a show that people like and care about.
You're known to like a few stunts on location. Can we expect any in this season?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I'm one of those people where the scripts are coming in and I'm like, please, please, let there be a stunt, let there be a stunt. But because they've worked so well, like for previously, I think when the scripts do come in, I think they know that we're trying to kind of up it ever so often. So yeah, there's definitely some stunts. There's definitely some real good action sequence in this season, which is brilliant.
This is the longest that any of the cast have played characters. Is that testament to the writing?
Yeah, 100%. It's testament to every department, really. You know, like most actors will tell you like they want to do diverse things, and that was the beauty of being an actor. But what's brilliant about this piece, about Grace, is that you can do all of that within this world. You know, the books are the kind of blueprint already, so we know we've got a great kind of base, and it's just for us to kind of to elevate that.
Author Peter James has promised there are plenty more cases for Grace and Branson to solve, and filming for Season 6 will take place in Brighton later this year. Natalie Bohr, ITV News.
Looks great, doesn't it? And you can stream all the series on ITVX and watch the next episode of Grace Season 5 on Sunday at 8 p.m. on ITV1 and ITVX.
Well, as we kind of hinted at towards the end of that report from Natalie, let's go to sport now. Andrew joins us in the studio, but a kind of a tough weekend for Brighton fans this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, their match against rivals Crystal Palace had a bit of everything, didn't it? Except the right result for Albion fans. Gillingham, though, remain unbeaten under new manager Gareth Ainsworth, with hopes of a brighter future. But we start our roundup with the Eagles versus the Seagulls.
Xero Accounting Software sponsors ITV Regional Sports Report.
Brighton's boss Fabian Hersler described this as a wild and emotional game. He was disappointed to see his side fall behind to Mateta's powerful strike and felt the team should have built on Danny Welbeck's equaliser. The goal made the former England striker the Seagulls' all-time top Premier League goalscorer. But it was the Eagles who clinched the winner before they had 2 players sent off. Brighton's Van Hecker followed suit, the rivalry seeing a flurry of red cards and disappointment for Hersler's side.
Crawley Town's hopes of survival were dealt a blow at Stevenage at level with 20 minutes to play. Town's hopes were dashed when the hosts struck twice in the dying minutes, leaving Crawley 6 points from safety. Gillingham's new boss, Gareth Ainsworth, says he's at the club for the long journey and looking forward to it, after claiming a point from their trip to Salford. A 5th consecutive draw came thanks to first-half goals from Elliot Nevitt and Romeo Hutton.
And we must congratulate non-league Whitstable Town, who've booked their place at Wembley for the FA Vase final. The Southern Counties East League team will play AFC Whiteleaf on May the 11th after sending Hartpury University out in the semis. And congratulations are also due to any of you who were running through the streets of Brighton yesterday to complete the marathon in warm and windy conditions. Now in its 15th year, the men's race was won by Sam Cook from Horsham, who completed the event in just over 2 hours and 26 minutes, and women's race winner Helen Reid, who finished in 2 hours and 53 minutes.
It was good, yeah, mad. I mean, first time I did it was like 10 years ago, got like 3:46, so it's nice to push on and try and go for the win, but no, it was good.
Feels amazing. The wind was quite strong on some of the sections, so it was quite tough, but yeah, it felt incredible to finish. And yeah, just so happy, just so pleased.
12,500 took part. Top job to all of you.
Yeah, nothing but admiration. They look so fresh when they finish. How do they do that?
Like a walk in the park. Brilliant. Andrew, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, a heritage railway station on the Sussex and Kent border has been celebrating 25 years since its reopening today.
Bodiam marks the end of a railway line first opened in 1900, with work now underway to extend it as far as Robertsbridge. Andy Dickinson reports.
Steam. It holds such a special fascination for its enthusiasts, whether for its feats of historical engineering or the magical sense of nostalgia it conjures. But Bodiam Station isn't just staring backwards, it's laying down more track.
We actually spent yesterday at Rother Valley at Robertsbridge looking at how the extension is coming along from the other end. We will join together, hopefully in 2028. I've heard it described as a 10-mile green lane. I've heard it described as a 10-mile men's shed. It's a real community of people who want to come together and do something good.
I think places like this are really, really important. Reaching this particular place was a tremendous achievement, and it was done 25 years ago, 100 years after the line was originally opened. So it's a real day of celebration today, and a great tribute to all the volunteers who made this possible and are going to make it possible to go even further in the future.
Throughout the early part of the last century, this line was used regularly, but it, and those like it, rarely made any money. Many private companies set up under the Light Railways Act went bankrupt, but their legacy rolls on.
It's basically like a massive train set for all of us. And when I joined, I noticed there was definitely a distinct lack of female volunteers, and I love being able to provide a face for that for people. So when people see me out on the engine, that's showing that we do include different people, and it's widening the diversity that we show here.
It used to belong to Guinness, the brewing company. Actually, my family used to come down here every year to pick the hops. My father would pick the hops till about lunchtime, then go down to the river and swim in the river, and then all come back and try and catch a rabbit for the pots.
A trip back in time for a community of volunteers who successfully resurrected the past, now looking to celebrate the next phase of their plans for the future. Andy Dickinson, ITV News, Bodiam.
Fantastic, I can smell the steam. And all that lovely sunshine as well. Pip's here now with the weather. Pip, we've been treated to this beautiful sunshine, haven't we?
I know, it's been really lovely, hasn't it? Yeah, we had a glorious weekend. We've started this week in glorious style. Now, temperature-wise, obviously Friday was our warmest day of the year so far. Hurst-Montsou hit 22.2 Celsius, and it remained the warmest spot over the weekend. Not quite the dizzying heights of Friday, but nevertheless, Saturday we got up to 17.4, Sunday 16.6, still well above average. And this is how April is looking just about 1 week in. So temperature-wise, talking about the maximum temperature, we're around 3.5 Celsius above where we'd anticipate being at this point. And in terms of sunshine, we're kind of continuing where March left off, 62 hours so far. That puts us at around 35% of the April average. We'd ordinarily be sat at about 20%, so not too bad at all.
OK, so I have to ask the Mondayest of questions.
Yeah.
Is it all about to come crashing down anytime soon?
Well, soon-ish perhaps, but it's not all bad. You know, for now it's looking pretty promising. This is how things are at the moment. We've got high pressure over us, of course. It's sandwiched between two areas of low pressure, and what that does is it forces the jet stream to wiggle around the three, giving this sort of omega pattern. It's known as an omega block. They can sit around for a long time, but things are set to change as we head through this week. What will happen is the high pressure will start to slip its way southwards. As it does so, the low pressures will start to drift northwards, and that means that this jet stream ripple will actually be far more relaxed. That in turn means we will start to bring in Atlantic systems from the west, but it is going to take a while here in the southeast. I think Sunday at the earliest, maybe even early next week. Let's get the details.
An icy start to the day will give way to a series of oohs and ahs. TUI sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
It really has been a beautiful day out there. Once again, lots of lovely sunshine above our heads and more of the same to come over the next few days. Plenty of dry weather, warm in the best of the sunshine, but still some chilly nights on the cards. And that will certainly be the case overnight tonight. So dry and clear, and with easing winds, temperatures for all of us toppling. I think towns and cities hovering between around 2 and 4 Celsius. Some rural spots sneaking just a touch below freezing. That in turn giving rise to a bit of frost in places and perhaps one or two patches of mist and fog by dawn as well. But all of that will quickly disperse tomorrow morning, leaving us with another beautiful day. Staying dry, plenty of sunshine, just a little high cloud creeping across the region later, and temperatures responding well inland, well up in the teens, but still just a little fresher around the coast with onshore breezes here. If you're heading to the coast, these are the times of high water. Chatham there around 10:30 in the morning and just after 11 in the evening. And then for the next few days, well, confirmation of plenty of dry weather, a bit of cloud coming and going at times, but where we see the sunshine still feeling warm, highs around 17 or 18 Celsius.
TUI sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
Looking good this week. Well, in just a moment, the ITV Evening News with Lucrezia Millarini.
And I am back with your late update, slightly later than usual this evening. We're on air just after 11 p.m. Join me for that if you can, but for now, thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.